The mockery begins. The massive space station Aurora Prime floated in the neutral zone between star systems, its gleaming metal surfaces reflecting the light of 3 distant suns. Today marked the beginning of the Galactic Technology Exhibition, where 12 different alien civilizations would showcase their most advanced achievements. The station buzzed with activity as delegates, scientists, and military officers from across the galaxy prepared for what many considered the most important gathering in recent history. Captain Elena Vasquez stood at the observation deck of the human transport ship New Geneva, watching as alien vessels of various shapes and sizes docked with the station. Some were sleek and organic-looking, like the living ships of the Veltari Collective. Others were geometric and precise, reflecting the mathematical perfection favored by the crystal minds of Zarian. Each ship represented the pinnacle of its civilization's technological achievement. "Impressive fleet they've assembled," remarked Dr. Marcus Chen, the chief engineer of the human delegation. He was a compact man in his 50s with graying hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "The Kethavari dreadnought alone probably carries more firepower than our entire escort." Elena nodded, her dark eyes studying the massive reptilian warship that dominated one section of the station's docking bay. The Kethavari Empire had always been aggressive in their diplomacy, using military might to intimidate smaller civilizations. Their ship, the Dominator, lived up to its name with weapon arrays that could level a small moon. "That's exactly why we brought what we brought," Elena said quietly, glancing at the tactical display. The human fleet consisted of 5 modern ships, all respectable examples of current human technology. But trailing behind them, almost forgotten in their formation, was a 6th vessel that looked like it belonged in a museum. The Sentinel was ancient by any standard. Its hull showed the patched repairs of centuries, with mismatched armor plating and outdated external systems. Where modern ships had smooth, elegant lines, the Sentinel was blocky and utilitarian. Its engines were massive and crude-looking. Its weapons appeared to be simple projectile systems, and its communications array looked like something a child might build from spare parts. "Are you sure about this plan?" Dr. Chen asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "If they discover what the Sentinel really is—" "They won't," Elena replied firmly. "Humanity has kept this secret for 1,000 years. We can keep it a little longer." The human delegation's shuttle bay doors opened, and Elena led her team toward the station. As they walked through the pristine corridors of Aurora Prime, they passed groups of aliens engaged in animated discussions about their various technologies. The atmosphere was competitive but friendly, with each species eager to demonstrate their superiority in different fields. The main exhibition hall was enormous, with each civilization allocated a section to display their achievements. The Kethavari had brought weapon systems that could punch through any known shielding. The ethereal Zephani displayed gravity manipulation technology that could move entire asteroids. The insectoid hive mind of Trixara showed their ability to grow living computers from specially modified organisms. The human section, by comparison, looked modest. They had brought examples of their latest fusion reactors, their quantum communication systems, and their most advanced AI interfaces. Respectable technology, but nothing that would make the other species take particular notice. That changed when Ambassador Keithvar arrived. The reptilian diplomat was nearly 3 meters tall, with scales that shifted from deep green to bronze depending on the light. His eyes were cold and calculating, and when he spoke, his voice carried the authority of an empire that had conquered a dozen star systems. "So these are our new human friends," Keithvar said, his tone making it clear that friendship was not what he had in mind. "I confess I am somewhat disappointed by your presentation." Elena maintained her diplomatic smile. "We believe our technology speaks for itself, Ambassador." "Does it?" Keithvar gestured toward the human displays with a dismissive wave. "Fusion reactors that we mastered 3 centuries ago, communication systems that lag behind our current military standard, and your artificial intelligences." He made a sound. That might have been laughter. "Barely more sophisticated than our children's toys." A crowd was beginning to gather, drawn by the confrontational tone. Representatives from other species watched with interest as the Kethvari ambassador continued his critique. "But what truly puzzles me," Kethavar continued, "is why you brought that ancient relic with your fleet, the vessel you call the Sentinel. Our scans indicate it uses technology that is primitive even by the standards you display here." Dr. Chen stepped forward, his voice steady despite the insult. "The Sentinel holds great historical significance. For humanity, it represents our journey to the stars." "Historical significance," repeated Kethvar, his scaled lips curling in what passed for a smirk among his species. "How quaint. You preserve antiques as if they were treasures." High Scientist Zixara of the Trixara hive mind clicked her mandibles in what Elena recognized as curiosity. The insectoid researcher had been studying the human displays with genuine interest, unlike the dismissive attitude of the Kethvari. "The power signatures from this sentinel are unusual," Zixara chittered in her harmonious voice. "Our long-range sensors detect energy patterns that do not match the visible technology." Kethvar waved a clawed hand dismissively. "Ancient ships often have unstable power cores. It is probably barely functional." "Actually," Elena said carefully, "the Sentinel is fully operational. All of our ships are." "Operational, perhaps," Kethvar said, his voice dripping with condescension, "but hardly relevant in modern space. Your ship appears to use chemical propulsion systems that we abandoned millennia ago. Its weapons are simple kinetic projectiles. Its hull is held together with what appears to be primitive welding techniques." More aliens had gathered now, drawn by the spectacle. Elena could see representatives from a dozen species watching as the Kethvari ambassador systematically demolished human technological credibility. "I propose a demonstration," Kethvar announced, raising his voice so all could hear. "Let us see how your ancient vessel performs against modern technology. Nothing destructive, of course. Simply a test of capabilities." Elena felt her heart rate increase. This was exactly what they had hoped to avoid, but she realized they had little choice. To refuse now would confirm the aliens' belief that humanity was technologically inferior. "What kind of demonstration?" she asked. Kethvar's eyes gleamed with anticipation. "A simple exercise. Your Sentinel against one of our patrol craft. We will test shielding, maneuverability, and weapon accuracy using harmless training protocols." Dr. Chen moved closer to Elena, speaking in a low voice. "This could be our chance to show them they're wrong about us." Elena nodded slowly. The secret had been kept for so long, but perhaps it was time for a limited revelation. "Very well, Ambassador, but I should warn you, the Sentinel may be more capable than it appears." Kethavar's laughter was loud and harsh. "I am certain it will exceed my very low expectations." As the crowd dispersed to prepare for the demonstration, Elena activated her private communicator. "Sentinel, this is Captain Vasquez. Please respond." The reply came in a voice that was warm but carried undertones of great age and experience. "This is Captain Sofia Reyes. We've been monitoring your conversation, Elena. Are you sure about this?" "The time for hiding may be over, Sofia. They're forcing our hand." There was a pause before Captain Reyes responded. "Understood. We'll be ready for whatever they throw at us, but Elena, once we start this, there's no going back. The galaxy will know that humanity is not what we appear to be." Elena looked around the exhibition hall, seeing the dismissive glances and barely concealed contempt from the alien representatives. "Maybe it's time they learned the truth about us." "Copy that. Sentinel out." As Elena closed the communication, she noticed High Scientist Zixara watching her with compound eyes that reflected a keen intelligence. The insectoid researcher approached slowly, her movements graceful despite her arthropod appearance. "Captain Vasquez," Zixara said, her voice carrying harmonics that human ears could barely detect. "My sensors continue to register anomalous readings from your vessel. These patterns suggest technology far more advanced than what is visible externally." Elena chose her words carefully. "The Sentinel has been extensively modified over the years. Perhaps that accounts for the unusual readings." "Perhaps," Zixara agreed, but her tone suggested she wasn't convinced. "I look forward to observing its performance in the demonstration." As the day progressed, word of the upcoming test spread throughout Aurora Prime. What had started as a simple technology exhibition was becoming the most anticipated event in recent galactic history. The ancient human ship would face off against modern HFY technology, and everyone wanted to see if the humans had been hiding their true capabilities or if they were simply the primitive species they appeared to be. Captain Reyes stood on the bridge of the Sentinel, her weathered hands resting on control surfaces that looked ancient but hummed with power that few in the galaxy could comprehend. At 65, she had served on this ship longer than any other captain in its long history. She knew its secrets, its capabilities, and the truth about humanity's real technological development. "Ma'am," said Lieutenant Commander Torres from the engineering station. "All systems are responding normally. The masking protocols are still active, but we can drop them on your command." Sophia nodded. The Sentinel had spent centuries hiding its true nature, appearing to be nothing more than an outdated relic while carrying technology that surpassed anything the current galaxy had to offer. But if they were forced to reveal themselves, they would do so in a way that would change humanity's position in galactic politics forever. "Maintain masking for now," she ordered, "but prepare all systems for full activation. If we're going to do this, we'll do it right." The demonstration was scheduled for the following day, giving both sides time to prepare. As the human delegation returned to their quarters aboard the New Geneva, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to cross a line that had kept humanity safe for a millennium. The Sentinel continued its slow orbit around Aurora Prime, looking for all the world like an ancient ship barely capable of interstellar travel. But deep within its hull, systems that had been built during humanity's darkest hour were preparing to awaken, and with them, a truth that would shake the very foundations of galactic civilization. The ancient power awakens. The demonstration area around Aurora Prime had been cleared of all civilian traffic. Observation platforms extended from the station, filled with delegates from every major civilization in the galaxy. The tension was palpable as two very different vessels took their positions in the designated combat zone. The HFY patrol craft Razor's Edge was a work of art in deadly metal. Sleek and predatory, it bristled with energy weapons and advanced shielding systems. Its pilot, Commander Vextar, was one of the Empire's most skilled warriors, chosen specifically to ensure that the humans would be thoroughly humiliated. In contrast, the human vessel Sentinel looked like a relic from a forgotten age. Its scarred hull and mismatched components drew snickers from many of the alien observers. Betting pools had started among the delegates, with odds heavily favoring the HFY ship. Captain Elena Vasquez stood in the observation deck alongside Ambassador HFY and the other delegates. The reptilian diplomat was practically radiating satisfaction as he watched the two ships prepare for their encounter. "I almost feel sorry for your crew," HFY said with false sympathy. "Perhaps we should call this off before they embarrass themselves further." "The Sentinel's crew can handle themselves," Elena replied calmly, though her heart was racing. Everything depended on the next few minutes. High Scientist Zixara watched the proceedings with intense interest, her compound eyes tracking every detail of both vessels. Her advanced sensors were still picking up anomalous readings from the human ship, patterns that suggested far more sophisticated technology than what was visible. "Beginning demonstration protocol," announced the station's AI coordinator. "Both vessels will engage in a series of tests, including shield efficiency, weapons accuracy, and maneuvering capability. All weapons have been set to training mode to prevent actual damage." The first test was simple maneuverability. The HFY ship moved with fluid grace, demonstrating turns and acceleration that showcased its advanced propulsion systems. Then it was the Sentinel's turn. The ancient human ship began to move, and immediately something seemed off. Despite its crude-looking engines, it matched the HFY vessel's performance exactly, executing the same complex maneuvers with ease that belied its apparent age. Murmurs began spreading through the observation deck. This was not what anyone had expected. "Interesting," Zixara chittered quietly. "The human vessel's performance parameters exceed what should be possible with its visible technology." HFY's expression was becoming less confident. "Structural modifications," he said dismissively. They have probably replaced the internal systems while maintaining the original hull. The weapons test began next. The Kethavari ship fired its energy weapons at designated targets with impressive accuracy. When the Sentinel's turn came, it deployed what appeared to be simple kinetic projectiles. But these projectiles moved with precision and speed that shouldn't have been possible, hitting targets with accuracy that matched the most advanced targeting systems in the galaxy. "This is impossible," muttered one of the Veltari observers. "Those appear to be primitive mass drivers, but they're performing like quantum-guided munitions." The final test was defensive capability. The Kethavari ship activated its shields, creating a shimmering barrier of energy that could deflect most known weapons. When mock attacks were launched against it, the shields performed admirably, absorbing and deflecting the incoming fire. Then it was the Sentinel's turn. As the test weapons fired toward the ancient human ship, something extraordinary happened. The incoming energy simply disappeared. Not deflected, not absorbed, but completely neutralized as if it had never existed. The observation deck fell silent. Every advanced civilization in the galaxy had been working for centuries to develop shields that could approach such efficiency. And here was a human ship that appeared to be 1,000 years old, accomplishing it effortlessly. Kethavar's scaled face had gone pale. "What kind of shielding system is that?" he demanded. Elena was about to respond when alarms began blaring throughout the station. The peaceful demonstration was about to become something far more serious. "Multiple contacts decloaking," shouted the station's tactical officer. "Unknown vessels, configuration matches the Ravager Horde." The Ravager Horde was the galaxy's worst nightmare, a nomadic fleet of ships crewed by various alien species who had turned to piracy and destruction. They appeared without warning, destroyed everything they could, and vanished before any organized response could be mounted. 6 massive Ravager ships materialized around Aurora Prime, their hulls scarred by countless battles and bristling with weapons that had been stolen or salvaged from a dozen different civilizations. "All vessels prepare for combat," ordered Station Commander Thexal over the general communication system. "This is not a drill." The delegates watched in horror as the peaceful technology exhibition transformed into a life-or-death struggle. The Kethavari patrol craft immediately moved to intercept one of the Ravager ships, but it was hopelessly outgunned. Captain Sophia Reyes stood on the bridge of the Sentinel, watching as chaos erupted around them. Her crew looked to her with expressions of calm readiness. They had trained for this moment, even if they had hoped it would never come. "Captain," said Lieutenant Commander Torres, "the Kethavari ship is taking heavy damage. Station defenses are failing. Sophia made the decision that would change everything. Drop the masking protocols, all of them. Ma'am, that will reveal our true capabilities to everyone." "I know. Do it anyway." Throughout the Sentinel, systems that had been dormant or hidden for centuries began to activate. The ship's hull began to shift and change as adaptive armor emerged from concealed panels. Weapon ports opened to reveal technology that surpassed anything the current galaxy had ever seen. The crude-looking engines suddenly blazed with power that registered on every sensor in the area. On Aurora Prime's observation deck, every delegate stood in stunned silence as they watched the ancient human ship transform before their eyes. "Impossible," whispered Zixara. "Those energy signatures, they're beyond anything in our databases." The Sentinel moved toward the nearest Ravager ship with speed that defied physics. Its weapons, now revealed in their true form, fired beams of coherent energy that passed through the Ravager's shields as if they didn't exist. The massive pirate vessel, which had been terrorizing the galaxy for decades, was disabled in seconds. Elena watched from the observation deck as her people revealed their deepest secret to the galaxy. "Computer, open a channel to all vessels in the station." "Channel open, Captain." Elena's voice carried to every ship and listening post in the system. "This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the United Earth Fleet. What you are witnessing is the true capability of the vessel Sentinel, constructed 1,000 years ago by human engineers during our species' darkest hour." The communication channel erupted with exclamations of disbelief from dozens of species, but Elena continued. "When Earth faced extinction from environmental collapse and resource wars, Our greatest minds came together to build ships that could carry our civilization to the stars. The Sentinel is one of 7 such vessels, each carrying technology that we have kept hidden for 10 centuries while we watched and learned about our galactic neighbors. A second Ravager ship turned its weapons toward the station, but the Sentinel was already there. Its defensive systems created a barrier of energy that completely protected Aurora Prime, while its weapons systematically dismantled the pirate vessel. Captain Reyes opened her own communication channel. "This is Captain Sophia Reyes of the Sentinel. I have served aboard this vessel for 40 years, as did my mother before me, and her father before her. We are the guardians of humanity's true legacy, and today we choose to reveal ourselves because there are some threats that require us to act." The remaining Ravager ships, seeing 2 of their number disabled so easily, attempted to flee. But the Sentinel was faster than anything they had ever encountered. One by one, the pirate vessels were captured or destroyed. Their threat to the galaxy ended in minutes rather than the hours or days such engagements usually required. As the last Ravager ship was neutralized, an eerie quiet settled over the area around Aurora Prime. Every sensor was focused on the human vessel that had just single-handedly defeated one of the galaxy's most feared fleets. Ambassador Kethvar was the first to break the silence. His voice was subdued, stripped of its earlier arrogance. "How long?" he asked simply. Elena understood the question. The Sentinel was launched in the year 2387 by Earth's calendar. It has been in continuous service for 1,047 years. And there are 6 others like it? 6 others, each guarding different aspects of human space, each carrying the same level of technology. High Scientist Zixara approached Elena, her movements showing the respect due to a member of a species that had just revealed itself to be far more advanced than anyone had imagined. "Captain Vasquez," Zixara said, "my species prides itself on scientific achievement and the pursuit of knowledge. The technology we have just witnessed surpasses our understanding in ways that will require centuries to fully comprehend. How did humanity achieve such advancement so long ago?" Elena smiled, but it was a smile touched with sadness. "Desperation, High Scientist. When your species faces extinction, you either evolve or die. Humanity chose to evolve." The communication channels came alive as representatives from every major civilization began demanding answers, offering alliances, or simply expressing their awe at what they had witnessed. Elena raised her hand for silence. "The human species has watched the galaxy for 10 centuries. We have seen empires rise and fall, witnessed countless wars, and observed the development of dozens of civilizations. We chose to remain hidden because we learned that revealing superior technology too early often leads to conflict rather than cooperation." She gestured toward the disabled Ravager ships. "But there are threats that require action. The Ravager horde has terrorized this galaxy for too long, and today their reign of terror ends." Captain Reyes added her voice to the communication. "The Sentinel and her sister ships were built not to conquer, but to preserve. We are guardians, not invaders, but we will not stand by while innocent beings suffer when we have the power to help." As news of the demonstration spread across the galaxy, humanity's position in galactic civilization changed forever. The species that had been dismissed as primitives were revealed to be the most technologically advanced civilization in known space, with ships that had been protecting the galaxy's peace for longer than some civilizations had existed. Ambassador Kethvar approached Elena with something that might have been respect showing in his reptilian features. "It seems," he said, quietly, "that we have much to learn about judging by appearances." Elena nodded. "The galaxy is full of surprises, Ambassador. Humanity has simply been one of the better-kept ones." As the Sentinel resumed its position in the human fleet, its hull once again concealing the advanced technology within, Elena knew that nothing would ever be quite the same. The secret was out, and humanity would have to navigate a galaxy that now viewed them with a mixture of awe, respect, and perhaps a healthy dose of fear. But for the first time in 1,000 years, humanity no longer had to hide who they truly were. And in a galaxy full of wonders and dangers, that might be the greatest victory of all.